Today I'm going to be attempting to make a very simple mead. I've used a process similar to this in the past to make a Kool-Aid wine, so I'm fairly certain it'll work. I just don't know how good it's going to taste. I do have a carboy on the way, so I can start a little more traditional mead, but I wanted to experiment with it before the carboy got here, so this is the process I used. The first thing you'll need is a pound of honey. Next, you'll need some yeast. I'm just using regular old bread yeast here since I don't happen to have any brewer's yeast on hand. Next is about 15 raisins. This is optional, but I'm told it helps the yeast to better ferment. Next, we'll need some unscented bleach to sterilize everything that we used. I used a capful and about a gallon of water and then rinsed everything thoroughly afterwards. Since I don't have a carboy yet, I decided to use this empty 750 milliliter bottle to ferment my mead. The last thing we'll need is a latex balloon, or in my case, a latex glove, since I couldn't find any balloons. First, we add 2 tablespoons of yeast to lukewarm water. Once it's mixed up, set it aside for later. Next, I filled my bottle roughly halfway full and then added the honey. This turned out to be a mistake as my honey filled up more of the bottle than I anticipated. So if I was doing this again, I'd add my honey first and then add just enough water to fill the bottle approximately halfway up. Once you have your honey-water mixture, shake the bottle until both the honey and the water are thoroughly mixed. Now we add the yeast that we started earlier. This is where you'll see that I added too much water to my honey earlier. I end up pouring out a little bit to make room for all of the started yeast, and because I poured out a little bit of yeast with that mix, I also added some more dry yeast just to kind of give it a boost. Since this is bread yeast, it doesn't have a very high alcohol tolerance, so I probably didn't need to add this extra yeast, but I did it anyway. Once we've got all the yeast in there, go ahead and add your 15 raisins. Again, these are optional, but I'm told they act as a nutrient for the yeast while it's fermenting the sugar in the honey. After all the raisins are in there, go ahead and give the bottle a few gentle shakes just to make sure everything's mixed well, and then we can go on to the next step, which is to add a balloon to the top. What the balloon does is allow any carbon dioxide created by the yeast to escape while keeping any contaminants out of the mead. Now to put this in a cool, dark place for the next 4 weeks. At that point, I will rack it off into a clean bottle and age it another 4 weeks. At that point, it should be drinkable, but it'll taste a lot better if I wait another 6 months. So I'll probably do a tasting just to see how it turned out after 4 weeks in the second bottle. But I'll probably let the rest of it age a good while longer just to see how good it can actually be, since this was just a simple bread yeast and honey that I picked up at Walmart. If you found this video helpful or informative, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you have any questions, please leave a comment down below.